Guys, the UFC lightweight division is no longer the Shark Tank that it used to be. The comments online from a lot of people, and ever since McGregor joined the lightweight division way back when, the comments have always been the lightweight division is the best division in the UFC. It's got the best talent. It's the most premier division. Today's video, I am going to walk you through why the UFC lightweight division is no longer the Shark Tank that it used to be. So in this video, we're going to dive into quite a few things. I'm going to show you guys the current age of every lightweight in the UFC division who is ranked, so you guys can see how that age breaks down across each fighter from champion all the way through rank 15. And then we're going to dive into a few comparison points that I pulled together based on the UFC lightweight division now and what it was in 2015. Before I dive into the actual breakdown here, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for coming to my channel and thank you for watching Fight Feed. If you are not already, I really hope that you will subscribe to Fight Feed so you can stay on top of all the new MMA content that I will be putting out there. I've gotten quite a few subscribers as of recent, and I've been enjoying to see the growth here. So I'm happy to have you guys join the channel. So please, if you can subscribe, it helps quite a bit. And also throw a like on this if you enjoy the video. Let's go ahead and dive into the meat of what we want to discuss here today. Taking a look at the lightweight division, we've got a few things here that I want to go through. The first point of things that I wanted to walk through with you guys is just taking a look at the ages of each fighter in the lightweight division. So here we go. Taking a look at the champion with Ilia Topuria, he's 28 years old. I've crossed out Islam because he's no longer in the lightweight division. The UFC just doesn't update their fucking website. The number one contender truly is Arman Sarukian, who's also 28 years old. So right there, you're thinking, okay, two young guys. These guys are like coming into their prime, gonna have some great years ahead, right? Then we get to Charles Oliveira, 35 years old. Justin Gaethje, 36 years old. Max Holloway, 33 years old. Dustin Poirier, 36 years old. Dan Hooker, 35 years old. Mateusz Gamrot, 34 years old. Beneil Dariush, 36 years old. Paddy Pimblett, 30 years old. So between number 2 and number 10, there's only one fighter who's 30 or younger. So just let that sink in. And then if you want another stat here too, which we're going to dive into a few things, but Max Holloway and Mateusz Gamrot are the only other two fighters who are under 35 years old out of that top 10 fighters in the lightweight division. Jumping back down though, for 11 through 15, we've got Rafael Fiziev, who's 32 years old, Renato Moicano, 36 years old, Michael Chandler, 39 years old, Benoit Saint Denis, 29 years old. So Benoit is the first guy between Arman and number 14, so number 1 and number 14, who is younger than 30 years old. And then finally, Grant Dawson at 31 years old. So that's just to give you guys a lay of the land of the lightweight division that was the Shark Tank. It was so competitive. You had guys who were all coming into their prime or still super young and hungry prospects. That is no longer the case in the UFC lightweight division. Right now, the UFC lightweight division is essentially, and like I mean this with no disrespect, but it's essentially like the graveyard of our favorite fighters who've kind of held this division together for the last 5 to 7 years or so. What I'm going to dive into now is just giving you guys a few specifics on why I feel the lightweight division is definitely no longer in this position as this premier division in terms of like young, hungry talent, super competitive. Like if you go through these matchups, guys, if you were to like pair an Arman with pretty much anyone in the top 15 other than Ilia, it's so like, I feel like the only matchup that seems like, maybe Arman doesn't win that one is potentially like a Arman versus Paddy fight. But I feel like if you paired him with anyone else, especially those who are aging in this division, it's so clearly one-sided that Arman would get the win. And that's where I feel it's so not competitive anymore. But taking a look at the top 15, and so up here, I've got the 2025 UFC lightweight division top 15. The average age is 33.1 years, which is not horrible. 33 is, I still, like Max Holloway's 33. I feel like he is still in his prime, still going to be able to put on peak performances. But what is a very damning stat in today's lightweight division? Fighters age 35 or older, there's 6. That's 40% of the top 10. So let that sink in, guys. Like 40% of your top 10 talent are 35 or older. That's insane, okay? And it's got the list of the guys there, obviously. Fighters that are aged 30 to 34, 6. And then finally, fighters that are under 30 years old, there's only 3 in today's lightweight division. So what I did that was, I feel, a fun process here is I wanted to go back and take a look at, if we were going to really try to compare lightweight to the grandiose years of lightweight, when I feel like this entire dichotomy, if you will, was called out of like, the lightweight is just so big, it's the best division, it's so, the talent is so deep, all that shit that people say that still gets put in comment threads to this day, which I have, personally been someone who's kind of been advocating against that and like telling people it's not what you think it is, but it's what this video is for. I went back 10 years, used the Wayback Machine. We went back 10 years and I took the information of the top 15 rankings for lightweight on June 27th, 2015. Okay. Comparing the UFC now to then, the average age was 29.7 years in 2015. It's gone up, 4.3 years or even more than that. Our average age now is 33.1. Okay. And then here's another one. Fighters aged 35 or older. The percentage is included here, but essentially in 2015, there was one fighter who was 35 or older, Josh Thompson. And that would only be a 7% of like the top 15 or whatever that would be considered 35 or older. Whereas when we looked at current division, it's 40% that are 35 or older. And I think that's specifically when we're looking at the top 10 though, because I don't think that maths if you're doing 6 out of 15. The 6 is out of the or I guess it would be, wouldn't it be? Let's just fucking see real quick. Yeah. So that isn't the top 10, guys. I'm dumb. 40% of the current top 15 are 35 or older. So like let that sink in. Then let's take a look at fighters aged 30 to 34. It's actually the same. So we had 6 in the current lightweight division and 6 way back when, that were 30 to 34. So that hasn't changed much. Now, this is the big stat that I think is very jarring compared to what we're seeing now. In 2015, we had 8 fighters under 30 years old. Okay, this is where the lightweight division was proudly prompted as this division of young, hungry talent coming up, looking to go out there, starch their opponent, win the belt, all that sort of thing. You had 53.3% of these fighters that were under 30 years old. And now we have such a marginal percentage of fighters that are actually under 30 in lightweight. I mean, you've only got 3. It's Topuria, Sarukian, and Saint Denis. And Saint Denis is turning 30 this year. So he's not even going to be in that list much longer. So I had to pull this together, guys, because I feel like this story that is continuously pushed and fans continuously quote, it's just not the truth anymore. Like lightweight is no longer that division with young, hungry guys, super talented guys. Like all of these fighters are great. Don't get me wrong. But like when you're looking at like Hanato, Beneil Dariush, even like Dan Hooker, Poirier, like, and I love all these guys. Like they're all great fighters. I pretty much grew up watching them in some sort of way because I didn't really get into the UFC until later. And like to see that Dariush has been in the rankings, guys, for the last 10 years, that says quite a bit about his skill set. But where I'm headed with this is that this is no longer a division where you have these like this perfect mix of young, hungry killers and a few old heads. This is like pretty much all old heads on their way out of the UFC. Like, and what I mean by that is if you were to put Beneil Dariush in there against, I mean, we saw what happened when Beneil went up against Arman Sarukian. Do you think Renato Moicano, like, and I fuck with Money Moicano. Do you think Moicano stands a chance against Arman Sarukian? I don't at all. And so the reason I wanted to pull that together, guys, is just to show you that like some of these like quotes and things that have lived on in the UFC for so long, they don't always apply. And like, I want you guys to realize that the lightweight division is no longer that Shark Tank. It very well could be soon when you got guys like Mauricio Huffy coming up. You've got Sadikov, I can't say his last name, coming up. You've got some guys that are right there and potentially going to be joining the rankings very soon. But clearly, this division needs some revamping. I mean, we need to get some of these guys that are, 36 and above to whittle out of here. And I think that the only way to do that is put them in matchups that are good matchups against these young, hungry talents. I've been seeing a lot of people saying Mauricio Huffy coming up and fighting, not coming up, but, shooting up the rankings by getting a fight against Ilya. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he should get a couple fights before he gets that chance. But right now, as you can see, the UFC lightweight division is just, it's full of older talent that are kind of on the back end of their career and not so much this young, hungry Shark Tank that it used to be. And before I finish this video, guys, I'm just going to give you guys, I wanted to show you the image that I snapped for the lightweight division from 10 years ago. So just to give you, as I mentioned, I want to make sure you guys are clear on this. I used the Wayback Machine. And we got June 27, 2015 up here in the right, the upper right corner. And we're going to just take a look at these. It's kind of fun to look at this because it's quite the throwback. But you've got Rafael Dos Anjos as the champ at lightweight. Pettis is number 1. Donald Cerrone, number 2. Khabib Nurmagomedov is number 3. Eddie Alvarez, 4. 5 is Gilbert Melendez. This is before Conor actually even snatched his first belt. But just look at this. Look at these talents. I mean, it's kind of crazy to see, like, you had Michael Johnson in the rankings, almost top 5. A few guys, obviously, that are no longer in the UFC. Edson Barboza right there, Benson Henderson. And then we've got Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, Josh Thompson, Jorge Masvidal, Beneil Dariush. So it's kind of fun to see what that all looked like back then. But you have to remember, we're moving 10 years. I mean, Beneil Dariush is 26. He's a young guy. He's up and coming. Jorge Masvidal, I think, was under 30 at this time, too. You had Khabib, who's only 26 as well. So you just have, like, all these young, hungry talents ready to go out there and make a name for themselves. And, like, comparing that today, it's just, there is no comparison in terms of how competitive of a division that used to be. Right now, it's just not that way, but we shall see if things, change here in the future. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this. Have you been one of those people that's been thinking that lightweight was super top-notch? Or do you kind of agree with this, that it's no longer this Shark Tank? It very well could be if we get some of these young guys into the talent pool and into the rankings. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Make sure you comment below. And also, like I said, give this a video a like if you enjoyed it. And also, if you're not subscribed, I would truly appreciate it if you subscribe to Fight Feed so you can stay on top of all the new MMA content that I will be posting. Thank you guys again for all of your engagement and following, subscribing. I will see you in the next video.